Love. It's more than what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Some think it's a universal force that binds two souls together. Others think it's just some chemical in your brain that makes you do crazy things. I personally think of it as if I was diagnosed with a mental illness that's incurable the moment I met my best friend and love of my life in college. Thank God my university hosted that furry convention. It was actually our relationship that helped me discover my love of woodworking. This is the wood block I made her for her birthday. Pretty basic Dremel carving with some heat pen tracing around the borders to make the text stand out. A heat pen is super easy to use and really makes a difference for detailing pieces. They often come with different heads so you can vary up the textures that you're burning in, and the best part is they're really cheap. I didn't have much experience working with wood other than sanding a Pinewood Derby car when I was 7, so I took this as an opportunity to both make a romantic gesture and practice some new dremeling techniques. To be totally honest, I'm not really sure what I was thinking here. I guess I thought I gave it more of a textured look, but now I'm just distracted by thinking about how this just looks like what would happen if I set my Dremel on high and handed it off to Michael J. Fox for some touch-ups.
As with this as I seem to be, I mean, it sucks. I hate it, and I wish I wasn't in this situation.
As far as first pieces go, it's alright, but part of the human experience is evolving and innovating on past accomplishments, and this sentimental wooden block chips away at my ego every time I take a look at it. Kinda like what ugly children do to step-parents. After I studied the ways of the Dremel and honed my skills, I got to work and elevated my game to a whole new level. She had gone on a week-long cruise to Ensenada, Mexico, and I made this as a little surprise. With this project, there's a lot less glaring imperfections, likely due to my artisanal Crayola pencil coloring. As for my patterns, I can't take full credit for that. You see, I was selected to be a patriot for my country, and involuntarily enrolled in a program called MK Ultra. And what do I get for my service? Sporadic fractal vision whenever my eyes feel like cosplaying as kaleidoscopes. And enough federally backed student loan debt to force me to give up on my dreams and aspirations entirely. And don't you dare go typing in the comments it's my fault for getting a useless degree. For your information, art history of gender-derived interpretive dance is pivotal to us as a culture. When that coward Kim Jong-un decides to let his pudgy, insulin-deprived diabetic snossage on that nuke button, it'll be on me and my alma mater to teach society how to cut a rug in the fallout. We can't make America great again without dance. Didn't anyone learn anything from that cautionary tale Footloose? Anywho, utilizing an engraving bit and a saw bit for my Dremel, I was able to cut out these shapes in thin pine strips and use wood glue and some string to make this piece really come all together. These gifts were a hit, and that's honestly the problem. You see, at first I thought I was making small romantic gestures that became tasteful, timeless decor, but now I've come to realize I've just been one-upping myself and making it harder and harder to impress this goofball. So now I find myself stuck. I want to propose, but I know a colorful wooden block that says marry me just isn't going to cut it. No. For this, I'm going to need the heavy artillery.
Yes, man, this'll do.
After hours of research, I discovered the best proposals are the ones that have big romantic gestures and lots of cloak and dagger secrecy. So I devised a plan to do it on the camping trip with her family. The plan? Codename Operation Flaming Gorge. The first step in this intricate web of deception is acquiring the ring. After recruiting her sister-in-law to gather intel on the target's ring preferences, all I had to do was come up with a way to produce one. Luckily, there's idiots out there who'll give you money for plasma, so I was able to buy it without having to resort to armed robbery. Step 2 of Operation Flaming Gorge was to figure out how to incorporate wood into the proposal. Since the ring was pre-forged, a wooden band was out of the question. And I'd look like an idiot in a wooden shirt, so I decided to make the engagement ring box. I couldn't work on it while I was at home, so I would sneak over to her dad's house where he was gracious enough to let me play with some of his power tools. Whenever she'd ask where I'd be going, I'd have to lie, but from what I hear, most people build their entire relationships on lies, so that was pretty comforting. On my way over, I stopped at Home Depot, grabbed a 1/4-inch board of poplar and oak, just because I wasn't quite sure which look I wanted to go for after staining. As for the stain, I decided to go with Sedona Red, because it fit the aesthetic I had envisioned in my head. I'm gonna make a box of the poplar and the oak, and then stain them and see which I like more. Before you ask, no, I couldn't fit any more clamps on the box. Hey, this isn't looking half bad so far. And that, Splinter Cells, is why we always use a miter gauge. After a few prototypes, I was ready to make the perfect box. I decided to go with oak because it's oak. I mean, come on, look at that grain. It's gorgeous, and it's harder wood, so the box should be durable enough to last our lifetimes. After chiseling a groove for the hinges, I used an automatic center punch to mark where the screws needed to go. Then I got behind the drill press and delicately pre-drilled the holes so I could screw them in by hand more easily. With the hinges installed, I used a vice grip to hold the box in place and pulled my Dremel out to add these engravings. This is how it looks after I touched it up with my heat pen, and if you're still on the fence, I don't really know what's wrong with you, but it's only $20 and it'll really elevate your project. This is the finished product, and I can't look at it without smiling, so I think that's a good sign. I cut a chunk out of a sanding sponge and hot glued a Crown Royal bag to MacGyver the box's lining and housing mechanism for the ring. Who could have guessed a Crown Royal bag could add so much class? With the precious cargo finished, I transported it immediately to a brother's house for drop-off. See, I couldn't have come this far just to have her find out while I was packing. That would crush me. So, he packed it in his stuff. And, to top it off, his wife got her favorite flowers. With everything falling into place, all that was left was step 3, the proposal. For the proposal, I wanted to do it on our anniversary, which was day 2 of the Flaming Gorge trip. That morning, we started off with boating and water sports. Yeah, we're sponsored by Red Bull. Just kidding. The only person who ever sponsored me was Dave, and that turned out horrible for Dave. Please help me. But forget about Dave. After drinking a gallon of lake water, we headed back up to camp to begin preparations for the final stages. You see, prior to our arrival, we had planned to do our anniversary gift exchange at sunset, away from camp. When really, it was just a diversion. I couldn't care less what phase the sun's in when there's gifts involved, but I needed her away from camp so her family could set up for the proposal. I hid the ring in a secret pocket in my backpack, so when we drove away to the docks to look at the sunset for a gift exchange, I could play dumb and act like I left it at camp, when in actuality, it was there the whole time. She was so sweet and said it wasn't a problem and that I could just give it to her when we got back to camp. And then she gave me a gift so thoughtful, I knew I had to put a ring on it. Behold! A custom carpentry apron for yours truly! It's even got my name on it.
Who cares? Dude, you're getting off track.
Did she even say yes?
Whoa, okay, sorry. So after she gave me her gift, we drove back to camp. Fairy lights were hung, every loved one had a peony, and our song Endless Love was playing over speakers. It turned out even better than I'd imagined. Now I know traditionally I should be getting down on one knee right now, but there's gravel everywhere and I'm in shorts. She said yes and made me the happiest wood lad on earth. Needless to say, Operation Flaming Gorge was a total success. So if you want to bag the partner of your dreams, all it takes is love, commitment to one another, and random acts of kindness to show them you care about them. Or just take them out to the wilderness and get their family involved in the proposal so that way they're too pressured to say no. Whatever's easier, honestly.